Hi students, my name is Dr. Richard Allington. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to History 322, the history of the Middle Ages. I'm very excited that you're all joining me for this class. And this video, I'm going to give you a tour of the Blackboard Shell of this class, to kind of give you an idea of where everything is and the work that we're going to be doing together over the course of this semester. So here I am on the homepage. You can see that I'm in the student preview mode. So what I'm seeing should be exactly the same as what you see. At the top of the homepage here, you have my contact information and you have my office hours. I strongly encourage you to take advantage of these times to contact me with any questions or concerns that you have, and not only to take advantage of these times, but to take advantage of the fact that I am committed to being very flexible and working with your schedule. As I say here, I'm happy to talk with students well after normal business hours. All I ask is that you give me a little bit of notice, a little bit of time. If you call me up out of nowhere at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, might not be able to help you very much. But as long as you give me some time, as long as you're communicating with me, then I'm more than happy to meet with you and talk with you, email, Zoom, over the phone, at a variety of different times. And I especially encourage you to do this because we're in an all online semester, in an all online class. In my own experience taking online classes, it can be very easy to get lost, to become unsure what's due, when something is due. So if this happens to you, I encourage you to reach out and let me know. I'll be happy to set you straight, let you know where we're supposed to be, where you're supposed to be in the class, and guide you back to where you need to be in this course. If we scroll down on the home page now, you can see that here we have the syllabus. And so I'm going to come back to this in a little bit, but I'm just going to show you that you can click and you can open it up and it'll be right there for you. Next, we have the Student Help Discussion Board. As I say, I am more than happy to meet with you as many times as necessary to help you as much as you need, but sometimes you'll find that your fellow students can help you more quickly than I can. So I'm committed to responding to you within 24 to 48 hours. Sometimes if you have a question, hey, I can't find this reading, hey, I'm not sure when this assignment is due, if you post that question to this discussion board, oftentimes I've seen that other students who are on the course at the time can just shoot you back a quick response and you'll get your question answered. So I encourage you to subscribe to this discussion board and to use this discussion board to ask your own questions, to help others with their questions. We keep scrolling down, we come to the weekly modules section. And so this is where most of the course content is going to be located. And then you have further resources that Eastern New Mexico University provides for you here. So you have access to the weekly modules tab up here on the left, along with the My Grades tab, which tells you your grade for the course. Now we're going to look a little bit at the syllabus, and then I'm going to come back and talk about the weekly modules. So these are the books that you are required to have. The Portable Medieval Reader we're not going to use until the second half of the class, so it's not crucial that you have that immediately. But the Barbara Rosenwein Short History of the Middle Ages, you do need to have that throughout the semester. So make sure you have access to that. I think it's a pretty good textbook. It gives you a pretty good sense, a pretty good overview. It gives you some helpful diagrams, some helpful maps. I wouldn't rely on it solely, but I would certainly be happy to go there. I would recommend that you go there when you have questions or concerns, especially about particular details about specific topics. Okay, If we keep scrolling down, I'm going to talk a little bit about medieval history and the history of the Middle Ages in another video. Avoid plagiarism. Plagiarism is a form of cheating. It cheapens both your degree and the degrees of the other students. In online classes, it's especially easy to fall into the habit of cheating, copying work, using the work of other people without citing it. Please don't do this. It normally has grave consequences, at least for your grade in that assignment. And if you do this twice, you can just fail the course outright. So do not do this. Always ask me if you have any questions. If you're in doubt, cite the source, cite where you got it from. If you have any accommodations from the university, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'm happy to work with you and help you with those. Although I think what you'll find is that as an online class, this course is really very flexible. So as long as you're willing to put in the necessary time each week, you're not going to have an issue getting the work done. Okay, now we come to the part that everyone's interested in, grading. First, attendance. I'm going to be recording lectures on MediaSite. I'm going to be putting those lectures into the weekly modules. I require you to watch those within 2 weeks after they're recorded. If you don't do it, for every lecture that you don't watch, and also watch in its entirety, you will lose points from your final grade. Journal entries. These are worth 5%. This means that you're going to complete a journal entry each week. These are very straightforward, very easy. I just need to see that you're thinking about how you're performing in the class, that you're interacting with the question, you're being honest about it, and you're being engaged. I will sometimes comment on your journal entries, but then after that, the way Blackboard is structured, it's very difficult for me to see if you comment again. So what I always say to students is that if your self-reflection and my comment on your self-reflection mean that you want to ask further questions, that you want to continue the conversation, reach out to me on email. Email is by far the best way to contact me. So avoid trying to continue a conversation in the journal entry after your initial post, and avoid trying to use Blackboard Messenger, which is very difficult to use, very cumbersome to use. So prioritize emails. Discussions, these are asynchronous discussions. You have to make the required number of posts over the course of the week over the different texts that we're going to discuss. I'll talk a little bit more about that again in a little bit. Review a secondary source. So we're going to be discussing both primary sources that were written during the Middle Ages, but during this class, but also because this is an upper division class, it's expected that as the instructor, I'm going to introduce you to some of the conversations that scholars are having, some of the cutting edge research that's being done on these topics. And so we're also going to read some of these sources. There is a worksheet that's attached to each assignment where you have to review these sources, and you need to complete that worksheet. It's pretty straightforward. As long as you've read the articles carefully, actually filling out the worksheet probably shouldn't take you much longer than half an hour, 45 minutes. PowerPoint assignments. I've started to use these more and more in my upper division classes. I think the students like them. Some of you who want to go into teaching after your college program is ended, this is a way to practice being familiar with PowerPoint, to practice conveying a subject using PowerPoint. Anyone who's going into a field where they're going to make presentations, this is an opportunity to take advantage of building some experience in this regard. There is a rubric for these assignments that I've attached to the assignments. You should definitely consult the rubric before you post the assignment. There are only going to be 2 PowerPoint assignments in this class. They should be about 8 to 10 slides long for full credit. So in this class we will have one paper that's 6 to 8 pages long that's due at the midterm, and this will focus on the idea of leadership during the medieval period. And you'll use a lot of the texts that we've read during the first part of the class. Lastly, we have a final exam. A final exam, but it will cover not just material from the midterm, it will cover material from the whole of the class, but it will mostly be based on objective questions. So now I want to go back to the weekly modules tab just to give you a sense of what this looks like. So week 1, it's a little different. We have sort of introductions, things like that. And so I want to take you first of all to week 2. So I'll give you an agenda at the beginning of each week. Tells you everything that needs to be completed. So what do you see here? You see that I'm going to post some videos, some lectures. There's a PowerPoint that goes along with the lecture videos. There's a textbook. Gives you a little more detail about the subject. And then I'm going to post some videos taken from YouTube. This will give you a variety of other different perspectives and will focus on particular things. The walls of Constantinople, particular Germanic tribes that are entering the Roman Empire, all very exciting. Next, each week you'll have a discussion. This week is a discussion of secondary sources. So 2 articles by established scholars. They disagree about the end of the Roman Empire. So you're going to read those. We're going to talk about their different opinions. Now, with the discussions for this course, there are going to be 2 different formats. One is going to be kind of your typical online course format. You have to post your initial post before you can see what anyone else has done. Then you have to comment on 2 other threads. The other format, the format that you see here, is going to be a little bit different. You're going to be able to see the posts that other people have made, and you have to respond to those. So there should only be one thread, and each post should build on the post beforehand. What I really dislike, what really gets my goat, is when students post past one another. They kind of ignore what the person before them had said. We're supposed to be a community. We're supposed to be learning together. This form of discussion post means that you should be engaging with these questions. You should be engaging with the other students. When I feel that there's been satisfactory debate and comments on these questions, then I will post the next set of questions within the thread, and then you should focus on answering those questions. One last point about discussions questions. It's very important to post early in the week. If everyone just posts half an hour before the discussion closes, we don't really have a discussion. We don't make this kind of a part of our learning during the week. Now, I recognize people have different schedules. Nevertheless, it is important that you make at least one post before Thursday over the course of the week. And this is a good time to say it. This course runs from Saturday to Saturday. So if you're someone who gets most of your work done on the weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you should be doing the reading. Some of the readings in this class are going to be quite long. You should be doing the reading for the discussion, and you should be making your initial post. Some students have extra responsibilities at home or at work because we're all at different places. That's totally fine, but then I expect that you do your reading, you make your initial post the weekend before this is going to be due, not the weekend that it's actually due. I hope that makes sense. There is a rubric for these discussions. The rubric is attached. Please make sure you're following the rubric and complying with the rubric. Okay, that's all for me right now. I'm going to provide another video that tells you a little bit more about my vision for the class that will also be available on the homepage.